May profits be upon you. Welcome to another weekly Forex forecast. In this video, I'm just going to be handling straight futures. I'm doing nothing but futures contracts. All right, futures, the futures outlook. All right, I posted earlier today. I posted a video where I did not look at futures. I looked at the regular FX brokered pairs and asset classes. Uh, I didn't look at futures for U.S. oil. I looked at the CFDs. I looked at the CFDs for gold, silver, copper, and platinum, and all of the FX majors to include Euro USD, Aussie USD, Pound USD, NZD USD, USD CAD, USD Canadian dollar, and USD Japanese yen, and the USD Swiss franc. Okay, those that's all FX pairs. Just look at my other channel. Look at down below this video. You look at the trading view where it says also on. You'll see my other contact areas where I post, and yeah, I'll, that's it. I did a whole show, did a whole webinar on it. Okay, now let's get back to the futures. All right, we're looking at US dollar index. Let's look at the US dollar index real quick so we can get a gauge, get a good measure of what we're looking at in the its counterparts. Okay, the counterpart currencies on the monthly. What we can see obviously is, I don't know how that happened. I lost it. All right, what we can see obviously is price has been moving sideways, right? But after it made this high and moved sideways, and we finally came back into that area of supply, this area of supply. So, and we started moving down. This is where I've been highlighting that for weeks. Uh, if you've been watching my videos, you'll know that I have. Now, in this current monthly candle, you can see that we're well below the previous low, the previous monthly low, and probably going to close in that area within the next week, right? And that's a bearish indication in itself. So I'm looking for further downside, and this will be my first liquidity target on a monthly basis. We're not going to get there anytime soon, but I think we're going to be working our way down because this move, this impulsive move, needs to be corrected, right? Impulse, correction, and then maybe impulse, or maybe, what did I just do? I don't know. All right, or maybe price will continue down, you know, taking out these lows as we have swept these highs. We may be heading towards sweeping those lows. I told you that once price reach the supply area, that we would probably be looking at a longer term pullback. Okay, we'll see. All right, didn't mean to do that. I don't know why I keep doing these things. All right, if we go down to the weekly, all right, if we go to the weekly, we can see last week was a narrow range, high, low. It's very, and that's not very different from the week prior, which was a high, low. This is a narrow range, and this is hard to trade. All right, when price consolidates, it doesn't look, it looks indecisive, but we are steadily, one of the things that we can see is that we are still making lower lows, all right, over the last 3 weeks. All right, where are we headed? All right, well, price is right now in a demand zone that is not pushing price higher. It's not very much demand apparently, right? But what I want to point out is that we are heading into an area of fair value. This is that large area of fair value. I should have pointed at it on the monthly because it's very obvious on the monthly. We can see it here, and price pushed up, and we are currently on our way back to it. When price sees this area of fair value where sellers and buyers participated in the market, when it pushes away from these areas and comes back to it, it usually finds those areas to be very supportive for higher prices, usually. All right. Sometimes it'll crash right through it. We might see that. We might see that this time. This may end up being this this little mark may end up being a fake out for the bearish breakout. We'll see. We'll see. We had a lot of time to find that out, but that's what we're looking like here with this gold this gold bar here. All right, this is marking out a very large order block, and I want to see how price reacts to it once it gets there. Okay, if we go down to the daily, what we can see is price has made a pretty nice uh, uh, low impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse, and now we're in the midst of a correction. All right, this is a good price action in my view. All right, if we look at this area here, our latest uh, snapshot of price action, this was the Thursday candle, and this is the Friday candle. All right, uh, price took a nosedive, but it created a market structure shift here to the downside. You wait for price to pull back into the demand, into supply, which I have squared off here, as you can see, and I would be looking for price to pull back into that supply and then push for further downside movement. All right, I'm looking for lower prices. All right, in the U.S. dollar index, I'm looking for the U.S. dollar to continue to weaken. All right, you can see how the current candle, the opening candle, is opening here. It may uh, push. It may push down further, right? But I'm looking for that to turn into a wick and pull up and then push back down. We'll see. We'll see. You know, what I want might not be what the plan might be by market makers. Who knows? All right. Euro USD is just the opposite of the US dollar index. So I'm looking for bullish prices here, bullishness here. And what do we have so far? All right, if we look, this is Thursday's candle. Let's get rid of that. All right, this is Thursday's candle. This is Friday's candle. All right, this is the opening candle today. I'm looking for price to complete this move. This is an impulse, a correction, and an impulse. Now, this impulse didn't take out that high. That would be a market structure shift. All right. But we did get a pullback, a correction of the impulsive move. And that's going into what? An area of demand. And I'm going to mark it out here on the daily as so, right? This demand was met here, and you see the gap up right here as this candle opens. I'm looking for price to do exactly the opposite of the US dollar index, push in, and then maybe we can take out these buy side liquidity targets. That's it. That's it. All right. If we look on the 4 hour, we may be able to see it even clearer. You can see that price pushed down into and disrespected the bullish fair value gap here on the 4 hour. I don't usually put a lot of stock in them in the first place on the 4 hour. On the daily and the higher time frames, yes, I give a lot of stock to fair value gaps. All right, but here, what I'm concentrating on is this area of demand. Why is it? I'm having some glitches here. I hate doing it while I'm live. Okay, and looking at this area here as a area of demand and a demand zone, and prices come into it, and I'm looking for price to pull up out of it for higher prices. Okay, that's it. All right, as long as price stays above this, no, I don't mean to use that. Stays above this line, this low here. I'm looking for buys. All right, I think I'll be all right as long as price stays above that high. I mean that low. I'm sorry. So here we are, and looks like looks like we might get a little bit of funkiness over there, but I'm looking for higher prices in the euro. I'm also looking for higher prices in the pound. This is the pound, and we're looking at the daily, and the price action is similar insofar as we have buy side liquidity targets right below an area of supply. I'm looking for supply to be a target. Boom, into that. All right. How we're going to get there is the question. And what you can see is we have this impulsive move to the upside. Wow. We have the impulsive move to the upside. We have a pullback into this area of demand, just like what I just showed you in the euro. And I'm looking for price to continue higher from this area of demand. All right. If price stays above, if price stays above this line, this low, that'd be great. If it doesn't, and it comes back into the breakout area here, all right, which is the sell before the buy. If price comes back into this area, I believe this will be a high probability trade to the upside. There's a fair value gap on the daily, and I'd be looking for price to make its way. If it takes out that low and use it as liquidity, a liquidity low, I'd be looking for price to come down. Sorry, getting frustrated. I'll be looking for price to come down and find support here for higher prices. That's it. That's all there is to it. But that is my my backup plan. My first primary plan is for price to stay above this high. I mean, stay above this low, and find the demand, find the support by way of demand here. All right. This is my line of demarcation. Let's look at the Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar is very similar. All right. I'm looking for higher prices in the Aussie dollar. We have some liquidity highs here and here, all the way up to this area of demand, supply. I'm sorry, this area of demand, supply here, and I'm looking for price to make its way up there. Well, that's the plan. How are we going to get there, right? Same deal. See this area of consolidation. Price consolidated there, had an impulsive move. We pulled back further than the rest of them, further than the other majors. But I'm looking for price to find support to go higher from there. All right. From where? This area of demand here. You can see it clearly on the 4-hour chart. This is the same area. All right. I'm looking for price. You see how it gapped up for the opening candle? I'm looking for it to continue higher. All right. And it may come back here and then go up, but it may just shoot up straight from there. But if it, as long as price stays above, stays above this dotted line there, I'll be looking for buys. If price does come back, there's a demand zone waiting for support for higher prices, and this will be a higher probability trade, in my opinion. All right, so I'll put an alert on this, just like I will put one on the pound if it comes down into that. All right, and I'll be looking for longs on those areas for sure. This I'm not so much on the euro. All right, so NZD. This is a trade idea that I had put in there in my chat, and I shared it with my chat. I said this is going to be high probability, and it's moving swimmingly. We got the same setup as the others, and I'm waiting for price to move up into there. All right, it might pull back a little bit once it gets into the supply zone up here, but I don't think it'll be long lasting. I think the pullback, the correction to this overall bearish move. Sorry. I think the correction to this overall bearish move will continue up to here. I'm looking for us to take this high out. for that supply. I'm looking for price to work its way up. Sorry, to work its way up. You understand? To at least the 50% area, which is right about here. Okay. Look at the US dollar cat. I mean, the cat Canadian dollar. We look at the Canadian dollar. We have a similar situation. There is an area of supply up here, and our market is such. Uh, this is on the daily, all right, and we see how price has pushed up out of this messy um, consolidation and pulled back. I'm looking for price to find support in the pullback to this area of demand. All right, doesn't necessarily have to come back here, but if it did, it would be a high probability trade to the upside, in my opinion. Boom, boom. All right. So we have the opening candle here, and it may just continue high from here because you can see why I marked this liquidity being taken. I look for a price to pull back into demand uh, of the leg that broke that high, right? And this is the low of that leg. Price pull back to that leg. It may just hold this low as protected. It may, and price could just continue high from here. But I would love it if it swept the liquidity on both those lows and just come on back. All right, but again, I am bullish in the Canadian dollar as well against the U.S. dollar. If we look at the Swiss franc, do we have a similar situation? Yes, we do. Every one of them has the same characteristics: a long move to the downside. This one did not take the ultimate low where there's a big pool of liquidity below. All right, so it makes me not trust that it's ready to pull back. It may be ready to pull back, may not want to come back down there, but I I'm suspicious of it. All right, I'm suspicious of it. So where is it at right now? Prices, you can see that it has a strong move to the upside, impulsive move that broke structure there, making a market structure shift. It pulled back into the bullish leg that caused that break of structure, and we have another push to the upside. This is the natural way, and I'm looking for price to make it up into this supply zone up here. All right, and we may see a pullback from there. I'll wait and see what happens once it reaches this high. But we have our liquidity points for price to take buy side liquidity, and once it does, it will probably pull back, but I don't know how far. We'll see. We'll see once it gets up there. But I am bullish in this market. All right. We go to the last one, which is the Japanese yen. I think this is going to be your strongest bet for the week ahead. All right. I'm bullish in this market, and it has swept its all time low. All right, it swept that all time low, and once it did, because there's a large liquidity pool below it, I'm looking for that. I was forecasting that it would lead to higher prices, and that's exactly what we got. All right, and it continues to move up higher. I'm losing my voice. All right, um, where's it going to? Well, you would think that this area of supply here, right, would act as a hammer and keep price at bay. But no, you can see the impulse, the correction, and then the impulse here. It's moving up, and it's not going to stop. This is this is our area of supply, and I do not think it will hold. All right, we have some buy side liquidity targets here that I think that price is going to run right to. If we go down, you can see how last week closed. right, in relation to the previous week, this is a very bullish indication, and I'm thinking that price will continue bullishly from here.